Hey, what is up, guys? Rules for Rebels, Millionaire Mondays. It is the Millionaire FastLane Book Club, Week 8, Part 8, and the book is actually now over after this chapter. I didn't even really realize that we were getting towards the end, but yeah, we've come to the end here. Let me know what you guys thought of the book club idea. Did you guys enjoy the book club? Did it keep you on task reading? Did you enjoy the videos? If so, let me know and we'll do it again. If not, let me know and we'll move on to something else. For those of you guys who do want to do it again, let me know if you guys have any book suggestions. If enough of you guys want to do it again, we'll do it again. Maybe we'll start next Monday. Give us a couple days to figure out what book we want to do, and then also give everybody a couple days to order the book from Prime. So I'm really open to any book. We could do just a couple off the top of my head. A couple of these I've read, but I thought would be worthwhile to read again, and I thought you guys might enjoy. The $100 Startup, The 4-Hour Work Week. Tim Harris has another one out called something of Titans. That could be an interesting one. I Will Teach You to Be Rich. I think that's more of a personal finance book, but that could be interesting. The 10% Entrepreneur, The Entrepreneur Mind. But I am open to other ideas. So if you guys like the book club and if you guys want to do another book, let me know what book. Oh, another one that I have a bunch of copies of is Alex Becker's The 10 Pillars of Wealth. But let me know if any of those books appeal to you, or if there's this, some type of entrepreneurship or business book that you've been wanting to read. And drop it in the comment section below. We'll settle on a new book if everybody's interested in doing it. We'll start next Monday. Now getting into the Millionaire Fastlane Book Club. So we'll do this like we have done it the past couple weeks. I'll give you kind of my synopsis points, and then we'll go through the entire book as well. So starts off, ideas are worthless. It's all about execution. Any business person who makes YouTube videos tends to get a lot of people coming to them. Hey, I have this great idea. Will you help me get it off the ground, or do you want to be partners? And like MJ DeMarco says, ideas are really worthless. It's all about the execution. Whatever idea you had, I'm sure other people have had the idea. It's actually who's going to do something with that idea, who's going to put it on paper, who's going to start the business, who's going to be the one who wins. MJ also talks about how business plans are worthless unless you have a track record of execution. Someone telling you what a hard worker you are, how dedicated you are, how passionate you are, and what a great business idea they have is not going to sell them on the business. MJ kind of goes on to talk about how that's why a lot of people start off as being successful in one business, and then later they get their hands into all these other things, because once you've proven that you can execute, people come to you with all types of ideas. I actually get hit up fairly regularly with people saying like, oh, I have this great idea for this affiliate marketing site. Will you invest, or do you want to be part of it? And some of these are decent ideas, but I always kind of question, why is somebody coming to me with an idea? Why is somebody wanting to give up, 50% or whatever percent of their idea as opposed to doing it themselves? And MJ talks later in the book about partnerships, and partnerships can be great. I have a business partner. I wouldn't have been able to get where we are without him. I don't think he would have been able to get where we are without me. Our skills complement one another. We keep each other motivated. We have a very good business relationship, and it works out really well. But ask yourself, when you're thinking about bringing in somebody else or bringing in a partner, what is your reasoning behind doing so? Is it because you truly feel that it could benefit the business? Or is it because you don't have enough confidence in yourself and your skills, and you basically want somebody else to run with your idea, and you just kind of want to hitchhike on their success off your idea? So question why you want to bring a business partner in. A lot of the times when I see people wanting to bring people in, they may have a decent idea, but I feel like the reason they're wanting to bring somebody in is because they feel like they can't execute it on their own, and they kind of want to skate on somebody else's efforts. I can think of an example from my own life about this recently. I had a buddy of mine contact me recently, me and my business partner, and he was asking us to invest and be partners in his business. And he's actually a really, really bright guy, has a lot of great ideas. He's an excellent marketer, and he refers to himself as an online marketer. He doesn't, he's not a this business or that business, like anything he can make money off, he will jump into. And he's actually a really good marketer, and he gets businesses off the ground really quick, and he builds great websites and everything. But as far as in doing business with him, I'm not really sure where I'm going with this. I'm getting a little bit off topic. But he tends to be kind of all over the place. He'll launch one business today. He'll tell you about how passionate he is about the idea. and then next week he's on to something completely different. And I feel like if he stuck with one idea, he could probably be successful. But he's hopping from one thing to the next to the next. When we actually recently were seriously thinking about investing with him, and there were some hitches in the business. It was going to be tough to get payment processing. Legal wise, it would be difficult. It's in kind of the gray area industry. But at the end of the day, we had a couple concerns. One is about execution. He's very good at getting things off the ground, but as far as like following through and continuing to run them, he kind of lacks that. And then the other thing is the way that he jumps from one business to the next to the next. Do we really, we kind of wanted it to be more of a hands-off thing where we're doing a little bit of consulting, my partner and I, and we kind of got the feeling that he might be on to his next thing 3 weeks from now. And because we're kind of the money guys, we got our money tied up in this business. So we're invested in the success of this business because we have money tied up in it. Whereas, yeah, maybe he's invested in it because he's got the money to run it and things like that. But we just had the feeling that he'd be onto it the next week. Due to not really him, but due to problems with the payment processing and some other elements of the business, we decided not to get involved. But 3 weeks later, this guy was on to another business and had kind of deserted the original business. So it was kind of a good idea. We didn't wind up investing. MJ kind of goes on to talk about how most people let powerful information expire. The example of the entrepreneur who's so scared of having his idea stolen that he never gets it out there. I have a buddy who's like this. He's more of an inventor than a business person or entrepreneur, although I guess they're kind of one and the same. And he had some good ideas, but he's always so protective of these ideas that he doesn't want to tell anybody about them. If it's a product, he's scared to go talk to any manufacturing facilities or die making companies because he's scared they're going to steal his idea away. And he doesn't really have the funds to get a lot of the ideas off the ground. So you're pretty much left with let's either license this or get investors to move the business forward. And he's so scared of having his ideas stolen that he never gets it out there. And with a couple of his ideas, and he's a really creative guy, really good with his hands, really good at building things. I've seen a couple of his really good ideas 3 years later, it's on the market because somebody else moved the idea forward. So something I've tried to tell him is, look, man, like share your idea with people, try to get it out there. If someone steals the idea, so be it. Somebody else out there probably has the idea anyhow and is going to execute and actually get the idea, the product, the business out there. If you don't give the product a chance to hit the market, it's worthless. So you might as well put it out there. If it gets stolen, so be it. You have other ideas, but at least it has a chance of succeeding. Whereas if you keep the idea to yourself because you're so scared to share it, the idea is never going to get out there, especially if you don't have the funds to actually get it made and everything yourself. MJ talks about how business plans are pointless. The real world doesn't follow a business plan. Your business and customers will steer you in an entirely different direction than you planned on. So why waste so much effort on every minuscule detail of a business plan that's not even going to wind up panning out how you thought it would? And what I mean by this, I'm not saying it's stupid to look at a financial analysis of a business. I'm not saying it's stupid to kind of have a Hey, sorry guys, got interrupted there. My mom was blowing up my phone. So anyhow, business plans, things never seem to pan out how you think they will in a business plan. Your customers, your suppliers, customer interests, these are all going to kind of drive you in different directions. My main business, for example, when we first started out, we were almost thinking about cutting out a product, which today is probably our best selling and core product. And we almost cut it out just because of some difficulties with supply and we didn't really know what the demand was for various products. But yeah, we almost wound up cutting out our most profitable item to date, and probably what basically keeps us in business. So don't spend weeks getting down some 150-page business plan, like literally a one-page bullet point of what you're going to sell or what the business is going to do, how you're going to differentiate yourself from others, how you're going to be better from others, how you plan on marketing and advertising it, and maybe some of your suppliers and things like that, as well as maybe a little bit of a plan for expansion. But just do a rough outline. There's no sense in planning for every little thing because things aren't going to wind up panning out how you think they will. MJ goes on to talk about how people don't invest in business plans, they invest in people. Look at the Shark Tank. How many ideas or how many people on the Shark Tank have gotten business deals, not because they have the best idea, not because they have a bunch of sales, but because the Shark Tank people like them and want to invest in them. People who have a track record of taking action and executing are people who people are going to invest in, not people with a fancy business plan. MJ talks about how important customer service is. He gives an example of the Venetian Hotel, which is fancy, new, shiny, awesome architecture, but has bad customer service, versus the Rio, which is a little bit more dated, has some shortcomings, but the customer service more than made up for it and made it a good experience. So a bad experience, a bad customer experience can't be fixed by glitzy stuff and shiny stuff, but a good customer experience can be had even with some shortcomings if the customer feels like the business owner cares about them. So focus on customer service in my business. That's something that differentiates us from others. I think I talked about this the other day. I had a customer call me the other day, and they were calling around shopping some prices and things like that. And at the end of the conversation, I said, look, I called like 5 or 6 places. You're the only people who picked up the phone. You have my business. We return people's phone calls quickly. We ship same day. We try to go out of our way to help customers whenever we can. I call my customers sir and ma'am on the phone. Um, I have a genuine interest in helping them and figuring out what they need. And people are grateful for that, and people come back, and people actually will comment to me, thank you so much. You guys do a wonderful job. Things like that. And it really makes me feel good about the business that I own. It makes me feel proud of my business. And it's something that people recommend us to other customers because of how we treat them. MJ then goes on to talk about business partnerships. Be careful who you surround yourself with, from lawyers, accountants, and consultants to a business partner. Going into business with a partner who has complementary skills can be good, and that's the case with my business. Like, my partner is very analytical. He's the bookkeeper. He's the HR guy. I'm the one who's a little bit more creative and a little bit more into the marketing and the web stuff. And so our skills really complement one another. Another thing that MJ says to be careful of is, or kind of think about when choosing a business partner, is you guys have similar visions. Like, if one partner wants to live the 4-hour work week lifestyle and the other partner wants to work 12-hour days, you're probably not going to mesh very well. Think about when you were, I think a lot of people in school hate group projects. Why? Because 20% of the people wind up doing 80% of the work, the old Pareto 80-20 rule. But think about how frustrated you are when you do all the work. You're the one, taking on the majority of the workload for a school project, and then the 1 or 2 people who don't really do any work get to skate on your grade. You're not very happy. Same thing in business. This can cause resentment, and businesses can fall apart because of this. So make sure you and your partner have a similar work ethic, similar vision for the company, etc. Me and my partner don't agree on everything. We have differing opinions on some things as far as how to run a business and things like that. But we both compromise. We're respectful of each other's ideas, and our skills complement each other, and it winds up working out very, very nicely. Another thing I would say to be cautious of: think about why you want to bring a business partner in. I think having a business partner is awesome. There's somebody in the trenches with you. It's kind of a morale booster. When he's more motivated, at a time when I may be slacking, he may be motivated and picks up the slack, and vice versa. When one of us is kind of beaten down, the other one will pick the other one up if we're struggling with some element of our business. But one thing I noticed, like I said earlier, is a lot of people, I think, want to bring somebody on to kind of skate on their efforts. So think about why you're bringing a business partner into your business if that's something that you want to do. MJ goes on to talk about how you should avoid businesses that can be commoditized, or try to prevent your business from being commoditized. I'm saying that word wrong, but he talks about airlines and gasoline. Most people don't really have a loyalty to a certain business in these industries. They go wherever the price is cheapest. I would somewhat disagree in the case of Southwest. A lot of people really love Southwest. I think they do first come, first serve seating. They let you change flights without a bunch of ridiculous fees. They're just kind of a little bit of a friendly, more customer service oriented airline. Whereas most people think of airlines as like always out to screw you over. My last vacation, I missed my flight because in fairness, I was running a little bit late, but they had one person working the customer service desk. It wound up taking me about 40 minutes just to check in with one person in line in front of me. And then when I finally got up to the line, they told, there's less than 2 hours before your flight. It's an international flight. You can't get out. Not only that, when I went to rebook my flight, there wasn't just a small cancellation fee. They wanted me to buy 2 tickets, and not just that, but 2 last-minute tickets. So basically, I'd already spent like $900 on airfare. Oh yeah, sir. If you still want to go on this vacation, you're going to need to shell out another $1,700 for 2 round-trip tickets. And the best part about it, I say this sarcastically, obviously, the best part was, okay, I missed the flight on my trip going out, but I should still be able to use my tickets on my trip coming back. Oh, well, no, if you miss the first leg of a round trip flight, you automatically forfeit the last ticket. So basically, even though my next flight was 8 days away, I forfeited those tickets and had to buy new tickets for those too. So we all know how airlines screw you over. I think Southwest is a little bit friendlier and that shows, but in general, MJ says avoid allowing your business to be commoditized. I don't know, just in terms of like Amazon selling or e-commerce, I think about something like the watermelon slicer. Versus like something like a bug assault. I showed you guys that bug assault gun I got a while back. Like that's an interesting product. It's an innovative product. It's the only one out there like that. The watermelon slicer, however, there are a million out there. And what happens to price when your business becomes commoditized? Well, at one point, watermelon slicers were selling on Amazon for $30, then it was 27, then it was 24, then it was 19, then it was 12, then it was 8, and now you can buy a watermelon slicer for 10 cents. And whatever sellers are selling them are hoping to pocket maybe $2 of that $4.49 shipping credit that Amazon gives you. But when your product isn't anything especially interesting or noteworthy, when there's nothing special about your company or your business to set you aside from others, it becomes a race to the bottom in terms of price, and that's not good for anybody. He talks about seem big, act small. He talks about how on his limo business, he had a like a fake CFO, a fake bookkeeper, a fake this, and it made him look bigger than he was. I somewhat agree with this and somewhat disagree with this. I agree with the sentiment of with some businesses it's better to act larger than you really are, and I also agree it's good to treat your customers as if you're a small business, have a relationship with them, care about them, etc. However, with a lot of like smaller businesses like a Shopify store, an Amazon store, an eBay store, things like that, personally, it kind of annoys me when I see like a shop, which I know is a drop shipping site or like a really small business run out of somebody's house, and they on their About Us page are like, we are an industry leader in this. Our large manufacturing base does it, and it's like I know they're not that big, and it just seems fake to me trying to be that big. I think sometimes with some businesses, it's better to be small, be authentic, and present yourself as who you are. A while back, I did a video talking about Shopify About Us pages, and I showed you good ones and I showed you bad ones. And most of the good ones, even though they were decent sized companies, had warehouses and their own manufacturing and things like that. They focused on the startup story, how the two friends who used to like hiking decided to launch a tent company because they weren't happy with the tents out there. I do think to some extent it's good to be authentic and be who you are, and people will want to support you and your vision. Businesses survive, brands thrive, have a unique selling proposition. Target customer selfishness. What's in it for me is what customers want. Let them know what's in it for them. Be unique. He talks about monogamy versus polygamy. He said, would you rather have one successful business or 10 sucky businesses or even 10 mediocre businesses? This is kind of the message of The One Thing. The One Thing is like a very popular book. Could be another good one for the book club if you guys want to check that one out. The concept is basically have super hyper focus on one thing, live it, breathe it, eat it, shit it, and you'll wind up being successful. I agree with this. One caveat I would put, if you are like brand new to business, you've never done anything, I do think there's something to be said for trying out some different things, going with the kind of throw shit at the wall and see what sticks methodology, or methodology, I don't know, you guys know what I'm talking about. But basically, if you've never run an e-commerce store, if you've never written an ebook, if you've never done affiliate marketing, try a lot of these things. See what suits you, see what you enjoy, see what you don't enjoy, see what your skill sets allow you to be good at, and then take it from there. Once you figure out kind of a direction, that's when you want to get into hyper focus. But when you're first starting out, I do think it's good to kind of spread your eggs among a lot of baskets. Let's see. Promise. MJ talked about almost. Okay, so yeah, I think we've kind of covered all my talking points in week 8, part 8. I would love to hear yours. Drop a comment in the comment section below. Let me know anything that you kind of took away from this chapter, any stories that relate to your business or relate to your life. Also, I'm about to get into section 2, but let me know, guys. Do you want to do the book club again? If so, let me know in the comment section. And if you guys have any suggestions for books, let me know about that as well. We'll try to narrow down a book within the next couple days, and we'll try to start next Monday. So now launching into kind of the blow-by-blow of part 8 in just a second here. Be right back with you. Okay, guys, so launching into kind of the blow by blow of part 8, Millionaire Fastlane, week 8, part 8, chapters 38 through chapters 45, and then the 40 bullet points at the end. Part 8, your speed accelerates your wealth. Chapter 38, the speed of success, starts off with an MJ DeMarco quote: ideas are nothing more than neurological flatulence. MJ DeMarco. Chapter 38, quotes and highlights. Get rich systems sold on TV take advantage of human nature because it is human to seek out events and avoid processes. Your success requires a shift from this one-dimensional approach to a multi-dimensional attack. Put the checkers away and play chess, where each chess piece represents a specific function within your business. How you play each function will determine if you build fast lane speed or drift aimlessly. Those pieces are the king, your execution; the queen, your marketing; the bishop, your customer service; the knight, your product; the rook, your people; the pawn, your ideas. The owner of an idea is not who imagines it, but he who executes it. And we talked about how important execution are. Everybody has ideas, very few people actually execute them. Chapter summary, Fastlane distinctions. Speed is the transformation of ideas to execution. Most people let powerful information expire and become worthless. Successful fast-lane businesses are run multidimensionally like a game of chess. One-dimensional businesses focus on price only. Execution divides winners from the losers and their ideas. In business, execution is process, ideas are events. Ideas are potential speed, execution is actual speed. Others share your blockbuster idea. He who thinks of the idea owns nothing. He who executes the idea owns everything. Real money and momentum is created when an idea, potential speed, is matched with execution, accelerator pressure. An idea is neurological flatulence. Execution makes it smell like a rose. Chapter 39, burn the business plan, ignite execution. And this is kind of a big message of what I talk a lot about in this video. Throw the business plan out the window. Forget about solving every problem before you get started. Have a little maybe bullet point rough outline of what you're going to do, and just get rolling and let the business take you in a direction where it's going to take you. Having the world's best idea will do you no good unless you act on it. People who want milk shouldn't sit on a stool in the middle of the fields and hope that a cow will back up to them. Curtis Grant. Chapter 39, quotes and highlights. Create a prototype. Create a brand. Create a track record that others can see or touch. Dive into process. When you have a physical manifestation of an idea, investors will open their wallets. Chapter summary, Fastlane distinctions. The world gives clues to the direction you should be moving. And that's what I kind of talked about, how your customers are kind of going to kind of shape the direction that your business goes in. At least if you're going to be successful, you're not going to follow a business plan that you came up with on paper step by step. Business plans are useless because they are ideas on steroids. As soon as the world interacts with your ideas, your business plan is invalidated. The marketplace will steer you into directions that were previously unplanned for. That's kind of how I talked about how one of my products that we had thought about canceling wound up being one of our hottest sellers. The best business plan in the world is a track record of execution. It legitimizes the business plan. And I talked about how kind of on the Shark Tank, the sharks often invest in people over businesses or business plans. If you have a track record of execution, suddenly people will want to see your business plan. If you want your business to get funded, take action and create something that reflects tangible execution. Investors are more likely to invest in something tangible and real, not ideas dissected ad nauseum on paper. Chapter 40, pedestrians will make you rich. If you do build a great experience, customers tell each other about that. Word of mouth is very powerful. Jeff Bezos, who is the CEO of Amazon. Chapter 40, quotes and highlights. Written record of all complaints, grievances, and issues my business experience daily. While you don't have a boss, the person who pays your mortgage is your customer, and they should always be heard, but sometimes ignored. You can explode your business into the stratosphere by deploying a customer service strategy that exceeds expectations. I call it SUCS, Superior Unexpected Customer Service. So he talks about how in this day and age, we all kind of expect shitty customer service. When we call an 800 number, we expect to sit on hold forever, to go through a bunch of menu options, and typically not even get our problem solved. I'm a big fan of under-promising and over-delivering. That could be as simple as, maybe a customer orders something and I give them a free upgrade to overnight shipping as opposed to 3-day shipping because they're close to me and it's not going to cost that much. Well, sure, I could pocket that money, or I could upgrade their shipping, get them the product next day when they were expecting it to take 3 days, and they're going to be a raving fan of mine. When you violate your client's customer service expectation profile positively, you turn your customers into loyal repeat buyers and ultimately people who are going to be raving fans and tell other people about your business. And he gives the example of how Liquid web hosting was that for him. So he pays them twofold. He pays them money for their service, and he also recommends them to others. Success in business comes from making your customer the boss and the number one stakeholder in your business. The customer pays your paycheck, not me. Keep them happy. Anywhere customer service is expected to suck, you have a business opportunity. Chapter summary, FastLane distinctions. Complaints are valuable insights into your customers' minds. Complaints of change are difficult to decipher and often require additional data to validate or invalidate. And MJ talks about how he changed the layout or the look of his limo site and he got some complaints. I think anytime YouTube, Facebook, any of these sites changes their layout, everybody on the internet is complaining about it for a few weeks. And after that, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, people get used to it. They wind up liking it. And the next time it changes again, they're like, hey, we love that last layout, which initially was one they hated, but they grew to love it. So, he kind of talks about how sometimes you want to pay attention to customer complaints and other times, if it's in regards to change, people don't like change. And you kind of have to make a decision over, will people get over this and eventually like it? Or should I really listen to my customer complaints here? Complaints of expectation expose operational problems in either your business or in your marketing strategy. Complaints of void expose unmet needs, raise the value of your product or service, and expose new revenue opportunities. Great customer service is as simple as violating your customers' low expectations in a positive. Poor service gaps are FastLane opportunities. Satisfied customers can be a human resource systems who promote your business for free. Satisfied customers have a dual residence effect, repeat business and new business via discipleship. Your customer and satisfaction hold the key to everything you selfishly want. Looking big but acting small sets up customer service expectation violations in a positive. Looking big can scare away potential competitors. And he talks about how when he first got into his limo business, had he seen another site who was doing it, who had like 12 employees and seemed really large, he may have shied away from the business. So he talks about how looking big can deter other people from trying to get into your business. Chapter 41, throw hijackers to the curb. People are definitely a company's greatest asset. It doesn't make any difference whether the product is cars or cosmetics. A company is only as good as the people it keeps. Mary Kay Ash. Chapter summary, FastLane distinctions. A business partnership is as important as a marriage. A good accountant and attorney will save you thousands, perhaps millions. Accountants and attorneys have the keys to your castle. Make sure you trust them fully because they have the power to right or wrong you. Unmitigated trust exposes you to unmitigated risk. Unverified trust can lead to uncontrollable consequences. Your employees communicate the public's perception of your company. Fanatical customer service can overcome shortcomings, but fanatical features can't overcome poor customer service. Customer service philosophy is derived from human interactions, not ambiguous mission statements on a wall in the CEO's office. Chapter 42, be someone's savior. A market is never saturated with a good product, but is quickly saturated with a bad one. Henry Ford. Chapter 42, quotes and highlights. Total disregard towards market needs leads down the road to commoditization, where you must sell your soul to the buyer who wants the cheapest price. If your product isn't someone's knight, standing out from the crowd and differentiating, it stands to be commoditized. Chapter summary, FastLane distinctions. Commoditization occurs when you get into a business based on a false premise. I want to own a business, or I know how to do this, so I'll start a business doing this. If you are too busy copying or watching your competition, you're not innovating. Use your competition to exploit their weaknesses. Chapter 43, build brands, not businesses. Everyone has an invisible sign hanging from their neck saying, make me feel important. Never forget that message when working with people. Mary Kay Ash. Chapter 43, quotes and highlights. How to rise above the noise. There are 5 ways to get your message above the noise. Polarize, arouse emotions, be risque, encourage interaction, and be unconventional. There's an old story I heard about how the price equates to value. Cleaning his basement, a man found an old dresser and decided to give it away. He moved the dresser to the street corner and placed a sign atop it. Free. Shockingly, the dresser stood there all day and for several days thereafter. This confused the man because the dresser, albeit old, was in decent shape and just needed a quick wood stain for perfection. The old man decided a new strategy was warranted. He went to the street corner and replaced the free sign with a $50 sign. Not an hour later, the dresser was stolen. Chapter summary, FastLane distinctions. Marketing and branding. The queen is the most powerful tool in your FastLane toolbox. Businesses survive, brands thrive. Businesses have an identity crisis, brands don't. Identity crisis force business owners into price commoditization. Unique selling propositions, USPs, are the key to your brand and differentiate your company from the rest. People have a natural disposition to be unique and unlike everybody else. To succeed in marketing, your messages have to break above the advertising clutter or noise. Polarization is a great above the noise tool if your product targets a polarized audience, usually politics, minority opinions, or even sports teams. Sex sells and always draws eyeballs. Consumers make buying decisions based on emotions before practicality. If you can arouse emotions in your audience, you'll be more likely to convince them to buy. People have a natural disposition to talk about themselves. If you can incorporate interaction into your campaigns, you will have better success. And that's kind of what makes things go viral. Think about companies who like, hey, take a picture of yourself drinking our coffee. Which one of you can come up with the craziest potato chip flavor? To be unconventional means to first isolate and identify what is conventional, then doing the opposite or interrupting that convention. Consumers are selfishly motivated. Always target your messages towards a predisposition of what's in it for me. Features are translates to benefits when you switch positions from producer to consumer. Identify the feature's advantages and extrapolate those advantages into a specific result. Price implicitly conveys value and worth. Don't allow your own perception of price direct to your brand mediocrity. Chapter 44. Choose monogamy over polygamy. No horse gets anywhere until he is harnessed. No stream or gas ever drives anything until it is confined. No Niagara is ever turned into light and power until it is tunneled. No life ever grows great until it is focused, dedicated, disciplined. Harry Emerson Fosdick. Chapter 44, Quotes and Highlights. A scattered focus leads to scattered results. Instead of one business that thrives, a polygamist opportunist has 20 businesses that suck. 10 businesses earning $10,000 cumulatively are not better than one business that does that single-handedly. When you segregate your efforts among assets, you build weak assets. Weak assets don't do heavy lifting, and they don't build strong pyramids. To hit the top of your game, business or otherwise, you have to eat, live, and shit your thing. If you're dabbling in 10 different things, your results will be dabbling and unimpressive. Focus on one thing and do it in the most excellent way. FastLane success comes from monogamy, not split intentions among wives and mistresses. It's marriage. Yes, good old-fashioned monogamy. Focus on the one FastLane business and kick ass at it. Chapter summary, FastLane distinctions. Teckle syndrome refers to polygamist opportunists who opportunity hop. And he talks about how a buddy in college of his, Teckle, always had a new business idea every week. I had talked earlier in this video about how I had a buddy who was hopping from one thing to the next. And it sort of, when he asked me to invest in him, well, the business did have other issues. That was one of the things that was on my mind, is after I put money into this business, is he going to be on to another thing next week? A weak business commitment commits you to weak assets. Weak assets do not accelerate wealth. The most successful entrepreneurs lived their businesses and were 100% committed to it. Successful business monogamy can lead to successful business polygamy. Chapter 45, put it together. Supercharge your wealth plan. Your choices are made in a moment, but their consequences will transcend a lifetime. MJ DeMarco. Chapter 45, quotes and highlights. Admit that the preordained path to wealth, get rich slow, is fundamentally flawed because of uncontrollable, limited leverage, weak mathematics, predicted on time, wealth equals job plus markets. Swap your allegiances from consumer to producer. If you can't control the mathematics that predetermine your wealth, nor accelerate them into large numbers, you can't control your financial plan. Leverage is harnessed by a system that does the work for you. The more people whose lives you affect in an environment you control, the more money you will make. Impact millions and you will make millions. When you solve needs on a massive scale, money flows into your life. Money reflects value. Information is the oil on your financial journey. Train your mind to see the needs and problems. Observe your thoughts and language because they expose unmet needs or needs met poorly. You don't have to find a next breakthrough, just find a problem, a pain point, or a service gap and solve it. Many of the best businesses in the world are based on products that already existed. The owners solve them better. When you focus on needs, problems, inconveniences, and issues, roads open. Yes, the road chooses you. Have what others need and make money, and money will flow into your life. This reflects the commandment of need. You can't explode your income by chasing money. Stop chasing money because it eludes those who try. Instead, focus on what attracts money, and that is businesses that solve needs. Money comes from providing value. Cast aside selfishness. You have to seek and seek to have what your fellow man wants. When you do, money flows into your life because money is attracted to those that have what others want, desire, crave, or need. The best passive income money tree seedlings are money systems, rental systems, computer systems, content systems, distribution systems, and human resource systems. Can your product, service, process be replicated on a global scale to tap the law of affection? And in the 40 FastLane guidelines, I shall, number 1, not dismiss get rich quick as improbable. Number 2, not allow the slow lane to bury my dreams. Number 3, not allow slow lane prognosticators to contaminate my truth with their dogma. Number 4, not ordain the slow lane as the plan, but let it be part of the plan. Number 5, not sell my soul for a weekend. Number 6, not expect nor seek a chauffeur to wealth. Number 7, not trade my time for money. Number 8, not put time in control over my financial plan. Number 9, not forsake control over my financial plan. Number 10, not demote time as an abundant effervescent. Number 11, not assign faith to events but to process. Number 12, not take advice from gurus who preach one roadmap while getting rich using another. Number 13, not use compound interest for wealth but for income. Number 14, not disrespect the passivity of a dollar. Number 15, not cease learning at graduation but start it. Number 16, not impose the burdens of parasitic debt into my life. Number 17, not play on team consumer but switch to team producer. Number 18, not dismiss the plausibility of my dreams. Number 19, not chase a path of money but a path of need. Number 20, not fuel my motivation by love but by passion. Number 21, not focus on my expenses but on my income. Number 22, not pay thyself last but first. Number 23, not do what everyone else does. Number 24, not trust everyone but allow trust to be proven. Number 25, not relinquish control over my business. Number 26, not hitchhike but thrive to drive. Number 27, not operate within limited scales and in tiny habitats. Number 28, not dishonor the horsepower of my choices. Number 29, not swim in a guppy pool but as a shark in the oceans. Number 30, not consume first but produce first and consume later. Number 31, not engage in barrier-free or weak entry businesses. Number 32, not invest in other people's brands but in my own. Number 33, not give credence to ideas but to execution. Number 34, not forsake my customer for other stakeholders. Number 35, not build a business but a brand. Number 36, not focus my marketing messages on features but benefits. Number 37, not be a polygamist opportunist. Focus. Number 38, not engage my business like checkers but chess. Number 39, not live above my means but seek to expand my means. And number 40, not live without the insurance of financial literacy. Okay, guys, so it is a wrap. That was the first book club that we've ever done on this channel, the Millionaire FastLane. Hope you guys enjoyed Millionaire Mondays. This week we covered week 8, part 8. Hope you all enjoyed the book. If you guys have any comments about what your best takeaways were from this book, how you can relate some chapters or messages from this book into your own life, or anything else you want to share, drop a comment in the comment section below. If you guys are interested in doing another book club, please drop a comment below. Let me know that you're interested in doing another one. And I would also love some suggestions for a future book to cover. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, so please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and we'll catch you on the next video.